Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game, where it's just finished. West Ham United 1, Swansea City 4. We will get into the highlights in just a second, but I want to quickly just say we've just actually hit over 1,400 subscribers this week. We actually managed to hit 75 subscribers as well during the week, which for us is pretty good. So please, if you haven't already, just click that subscribe button. We're trying to hit to 1,500 before the end of the season at Stoke. So if you could press subscribe, it would be truly appreciated. Now, Charlie, where do we begin? Let's start with the team sheet. What did you think of it when it came out? Were you expecting Antonio at right back again? Were you expecting some changes? Because for me, to see Moses in the team, I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, that's the big one for me was Victor Moses. I think did Antonio to be at right back again just because he seems to be sticking with him there for now. But Victor Moses for me was not a bad inclusion for the start, but an interesting one. I wanted to see him come in and step up like he did in other games earlier in the season and really put his mark and say, yeah, I am actually still here. I can still perform for the last couple of games of the season. That was the interesting inclusion for me. But apart from that, I agreed with the lineup.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. It's so annoying because you speak to Chelsea fans, first game in the season or in pre-season, they say, Victor Moses, he was a standout player. He looks so good. Every pre-season they say that. And, and he goes off to a club, he'll do well for a couple of games. And then he just seems to just disappear off the face of the earth. And, it's weird. I mean, Byron was playing in the under-21s this week for the thing. And if he's fit, I thought maybe why shouldn't he have been playing for the first team? I would have expected probably him or Tompkins to be in there to push Antonio up. But, it's not bad. Swansea, they came in a few changes. They had no Williams, no Neil Taylor today. Sigurdsson, Montero, they were all out. Williams was resting, I think a couple due to injury. In the preview, they said that, Gio and Gonzo, they all said 2-0, 2-0, 2-1. For me, I was very scared. Swansea had nothing to lose, don't forget. Is that how you felt today, Charlie? Because, we're fighting for something. We are the ones who should be nervous. Swansea can go out, play a second-string team, and if they lose, so what? They're already safe.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as... there was mild confidence, but I don't think I was... The problem is we are a good team. And I think categorically, we are a better team than Swansea. And we've gone to teams much, 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 much better than Swansea and have given them a run for their money. But Swansea are incredibly quick. And you look at the players like they had on the pitch, and then like the likes of Routledge and Barrow and Ayew, and then you look at people like Bafiti Gomez and even people like Montero who weren't in the team. They're an incredibly quick side, and again, is our transition from attack to defense isn't quick enough.
No, it wasn't today. Sorry, go on. No, sorry, go on.
And that whole thing that was what I was more worried about, was them being able to break. And that, was I confident that we could win? Yeah, I was confident we could still get something at 80 minutes because we are that good of a football team. The worry there was that they would be too quick for us to handle.
Yeah, we started the game off quite well. We played quite a bit of possession football. We, had a few early corners. Payet had a couple of chances. We were comfortable on the ball at times. But like you said, Swansea set up for the counter-attack. They were ready to hit us on the break, and they do have a lot of quick players. And we had early warning signs. There was a couple of times where there was so much space in front of the back four, and we were very narrow. And you just could sense that, they could probably pick us off quite easily. It was like half of the players were still, at times were at the award ceremony on Tuesday or Wednesday night, whenever it was, we were still back there having a drink. I don't understand, for a team that's been so good defensively, Charlie, at point times this season, what's happened today? Because their defence, it was like almost like first game of the season, and none of them have played together before because they were just all over the place, weren't they?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will pick out Antonio as the weak link there, because obviously he likes to get forward, let's say more than all the rest of the defence, obviously. But I think what the three people I pick up, which before everyone in front of the defence basically did not do their defensive duties well enough today. I think Victor Moses especially, you need to have Antonio at right back. You need someone in front of him who will track back. And I didn't see Victor Moses track back. I can't remember Victor Moses tracking back once until we were 3-0 down. And Moses, Noble, and Kiate, and as good as they are defensively, I don't think they were good enough defensively today. The biggest problem we had was Swansea had swarmed. All of a sudden, they attacked like a pack. It was like 4 of them all of a sudden in and around our area, and our defense was getting pulled all over the shop, and there was no one in midfield really there to help them out. And that was a huge problem. And consistently, they created space by just having 4 players attack in unison and then just move about. And fair play to Swansea. They were the better team. They attacked brilliantly. They came with a game plan and they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, at times, I don't know where Kuyate and Noble were. You know, you just think track back a bit. And we've seen them do it all season. Just track back, just track back, just track back. And there was just none of that. None of them came back. They were, you know, upfield. And Swansea just picked us open like we're, you know, bottom of the table or something. You know, it was ridiculous. I mean, Pyatt had a couple of free kicks. He had a rangefinder, didn't hit it. Second one, again, it was close, hit the top of the wall. Do we almost expect too much from Pyatt now, from free kicks? You know, we almost, you know, we big him up, we sing for him. But, you know, it's like there's pressure on him if he doesn't score. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, we expect him to do that now, don't we?
I think we do. He's just the problem is we expect it, but he is that good. Just like Beckham was always expected to score a free kick, but he was that good. Now, I'm not saying he's maybe as good as Beckham, obviously, but I mean, he probably is. But you expect it from him, but it's not really the wrong thing to do. But the problem is I think today we were relying on it, because when the chances did come at the other end, we weren't creating enough. And so really the only clear-cut chances we had, apart from possibly the Ogbonna one from the corner early on in the game, was off the free kicks. And so it's fine to expect it because he is that good. However, we can't rely on it. And I think that was the problem today, it was the only really clear-cut chances we created.
Yeah. I mean, Payet, again, he had a few corners. We had a few early corners, and the service wasn't great today. The first half especially, nobody was really sticking a ball up for Carroll at the back post. In regards to Payet, I mean, at the time, you know, he picked up 5 awards the other day for the thingy. And it's weird because it's almost like we expect so much of him. At times, it's like he feels the weight of the whole team on his shoulders. Do you know what I mean? And it must be difficult for him because, you know, sometimes you're going to single out the best player if they don't have a good game, which I think is a bit unfair at times, but it's probably just going to how it works. Anyway, so first goal, we weren't alert to the switches. Literally a couple of balls came out over to one side, to the other. And it's the problem. If you've got someone like Antonio who's not a right back, he's going to push forward, isn't he? And he was left hanging. He wasn't there. One switch to another and into the box to eye. It was a beautifully worked goal, but where, you know, that defence, again, we're going to have to talk about it, but where were they?
I still don't know. I still don't know. The ball came when Key played the ball to whoever was on the right.
Routledge, I think it was.
It probably, yeah. They had about... I mean, it was... We couldn't have given them any more space to play in with that first goal. The ball came across. He's in a mile of space. He plays it back across the goal, and it's in. And like you said, it was a brilliantly worked goal, absolutely brilliant. But the defense was just all over the shop. And again, when that happens, what do you want? You want your midfielders to drop back, to track back, to work for that defensive unit, and they didn't. There was no one there. It was the 4 defenders, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Randolph came in today, which was obviously the change because of Adrian's injured. And I think it'd be unfair to say it was his fault. Nothing today was his fault. It was all the defence. I don't think anybody can point fingers at him. And I guess this is the double-edged sword. I mean, he's determined to have Antonio work at right back. But again, I wouldn't heap the blame on Antonio either because he's doing what's natural to him. I saw a tweet, actually, I've saved it on my computer. You know, somebody said out, one of the West Ham fans today said, Antonio scored 15 goals last season for Forest today, and today he's playing right back. You know, what a waste. And it is. You can just see him up and down all game. And obviously, again, for the fault for the second goal, we'll talk about that in a second. Ogbonna had a chance. The corner came in again. Blazed it 5 foot over the bar. I was thinking, why did you not just sort of just control it, just keep it into one of the corners, which he didn't. And from that, you know, again, 2-0 down. No one down that right hand side. Antonio was again pushed further forward, lost possession in midfield, and he's trying to come back. And it just, it's exactly the same, isn't it? This first goal, you know, it was so easily worked for them.
It was, but that for the second goal, I think. You can't legislate for crosses that good. I've never heard of him before, I'm not 100% certain what his name was, but the ball was unbelievably good. I mean, he's put it. You could say one of the defenders should get a foot on it, whether it be Reed or Bonner or who, just someone. But the ball's absolutely perfect, and Reed at full stretch can't get there, and Ayew just basically stands there and it's bouncing off him into the net. The problem is again, there's just so much space down that right hand side because Victor Moses, particularly in that case, was not tracking back, and Mark Noble and Kouyaté can't cover for him tracking back to cover for Antonio, who's too far forward. And it's just too easy. It's just way, way, way too easy. And it's unfortunate, but they exploited it perfectly. Moving Barrow from right to the left-hand side to just play in that space was the best I think Swansea did today.
Yeah, I mean, for me, their left back today again shows how much we know. But I forgot to write his name down. But he played a blinder today, and that was an unbelievable ball that he put in. Take nothing away from Swansea. We're not being sour West Ham fans here. They played very well at times, and that was an unbelievable cross that he put in. And I mean, that will split any defence in half. I don't think maybe a bit harsh on saying our defence. We probably could have dealt with it, but that is a ball that's going to put most defences under pressure. It's 2-0. We've seen so many times this season. It's not game over. We've come back from Everton. We've come back down. Within 2-3 minutes against Arsenal. I think with Sam, you think you just roll over at 2-0. There was no way back into the game. But for me, with Bilic, you've always got that faith. We had a couple of chances again from Carroll before the half ends, but probably that second half. I don't know about you, but it was one of the worst ends to a half of football I think I've seen from us this year. But again, who knows? Half time. We'll just quickly give a special mention. I'm not really part of this, but the under 21s, they actually won the under 21 Premier League Cup during the week. So we give a special mention to them because they were presented the trophy at half time. So they were the only good thing at Upton Park today, I guess. Swansea 3-0 straight after half time. Key, another brilliant ball. Antonio, nowhere to be found. Just split the defence apart. And it was a great finish from Key, wasn't it?
It was, and it was a brilliant ball by Barrow. Again, he managed to get in behind Antonio, and again, no one tracks back. He is in about a mile of space. He pulls it back, and it's a fantastic strike by Key. Key is he strikes the ball very clean. He's very good at that. You saw him have a few long range shots during the match as well. He's a very good player, and when you give him that amount of space, he will punish you from that sort of range because he's that good. I really do like Key as a footballer. I think he's very good. But again, so easy for Swansea, so easy.
Yeah, I mean, on a word for Key, I'm pretty sure Key was Swansea's Player of the Year last year. I think, and he is a great little technical footballer. We'll probably talk about Swansea in a little bit later on because there's a couple of players that I do want to mention. Antonio, the first proper time at that point, I'm guessing that Slav sort of said he's given him license to push forward. First chance he gets, he does a little, step over into the box, and creates a wonderful chance. But why isn't he further up? And again, we can talk about this as much as we want, but you see that first little chance he has, and that's what he can do. And you go, and you're sat there tearing your hair out as a West Ham fan, thinking, just look, Slaven, that's what he does. That is what he does. And again, we'll say take nothing away from Swansea because at times they made us look like Barcelona. Made them look like Barcelona. I think at times today, but they defended brilliantly. But again, corner after corner, Payet's delivery. It was shocking today, really, wasn't it, Charlie?
I think you say we made them look like Barcelona. I think really we made them look like Leicester. I think that's the biggest compliment we can give them is they were so quick on the counter attack and so brilliantly worked defensively that it really was like facing Leicester. But you look at how many corners we actually had, I think shows how well they played defensively and how many times we had the ball, we had a shot and they blocked it or saved it or something, because we had corner after corner after corner and we could not create a single thing. The only times we did were when it bounced about and we'd had a shot and they saved it or blocked it and then we managed to do something, for example, our goal. I think Antonio, when he goes forward, it is so good. Bilic is very loyal, and I think we even saw that at half time. I think everyone would have taken off Victor Moses at half time, but he kept him on, maybe just to see if he can change the mind. Just go do something now. Now you've had your warning, go. And I think with Antonio at right back, the problem is up until this point, although we all know he's not a right back, he hasn't done anything particularly wrong in order to have him chucked out. And it's really, I appreciate the fact that Bilic is giving him a chance. However, I think now it's time to push him forward and actually go full force with it. But they're just the theme of today is just every single one of their goals. You just go, it's so easy for them.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous.
that's what I mean. It is. You sit. It's it's true though. You sit aside, you're thinking it's unbelievable that the way that they've picked us apart, and I just he is so determined to get Antonio to work at right back, but I just wish he would just for once. And he is a very stubborn manager. I think Bilic. He's very, very stubborn, which is a problem, I guess, at times. We just check there. We had 13 corners today, 13, and I could, apart from maybe one, the ball was just from Payet today was terrible, really. Sacco then came on as a sub. He did more in 5 minutes, really, didn't he, than Moses had done all game from when he came on.
Yeah, Sacco, he has a point to prove, which I think helps, but he has a work rate that our other strikers don't have, and a movement that our other strikers don't have. The last time I was on, I spoke about the fact that I think he has movement in any one of our strikers, and I think there were times today, especially at the beginning of that second half, where we were trying to get out of our half and we'd play the ball to Andy Carroll, but he couldn't move into the right space, or there wasn't movement around him enough to do anything. And I think bringing on Sacco was the right move, because we just need someone to be next to Carroll in order to cause them just some sort of problems, because otherwise it was almost like watching us last year, where we would just lump the ball to Andy Carroll and expect magic to happen, whereas it just was never going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Carroll wasn't great today, but then again, you do have to lay some of the blame on the balls that were being put in. If you don't utilise him like we have done in the last few games, who is to blame really for that? The one set piece that I was talking about was the next one, which was the goal. Great ball, first proper great ball. Antonio, bang, great header. And Fabianski made a number of fantastic saves today. Again, he was phenomenal for them today. Fabianski when he was at Arsenal, but blimey, he was brilliant. Great save. Unfortunately, the ball's dropped to Sacco and it's an own goal. Do you think I was quite lucky at that point to get that, or did you think we deserved it?
Whether we deserved it or not was debatable, but I think we had enough chances during the game to get something like that. We were knocking on the door. We were constantly pressing, and it was one of those days where everything doesn't fall for you and everything falls for them. And I think that was the case. We had like the Ogbonna, and there was one, I think the Carroll one, where he heads it down and it just bounces off Lanzini's foot, who's on the floor, and somehow goes over the bar and not into the net. There was a lot of these opportunities where you go, how is this not in the net? And then even for the goal, Antonio heads it, incredible save. Sacco hits it, another incredible save. And then finally, again, the commentators were saying possibly it was an own goal, possibly it was Sacco, but finally the third attempt, it goes in. And that was the first time when really it felt like we had the sort of dynamism up front to take advantage of that second bounce sort of thing, whereas before we just didn't.
Yeah, and for me, like you said about Sacco's movements a minute ago, I don't know why he didn't start today. Maybe Bilic had one eye on Manchester United on Tuesday. But the thing is now that Manchester United also rested Rashford and a number of players for them for Tuesday, but I think we just should have started Sacco. That we had so much to play for today, and he came on and you could see he changed it. 67th minute, the goal goes in, and you're kind of thinking at that point, we came back at Everton. We were in a worse position at Everton with literally like 13 minutes to go, and we pulled the win out. And you just, like you said, you're always thinking at this point with this team, you're going to come back, you're going to come back, you're going to come back. But then again, Swansea made a sub, and I'm pretty sure the momentum just went from there on. I don't know how you felt about that, but I'm pretty sure the momentum just fell out of the game. But we just, again, and I've put here, it's chances after chances, balls from Dimmy and stuff, but nothing was happening for us, was it? They just, it was proper balls to the wall at that point. But, we just couldn't find a way through, because Swansea really did defend that well. And we got lucky again. Antonio, somehow the ball hit him in the stomach and it went and hit the bar. Do you think Reid was held for a penalty down that end? I mean, could you say that? Could the way that penalties have been given the last couple of weeks?
Possibly. I mean, it happens consistently and constantly. I think it's becoming a bigger deal now, especially after the West Ham Leicester game. People are now watching what defenders are doing in the box more than anyone else, I think, and there's always been a lot of grappling and lobbing about. Was it a penalty? Possibly. I mean, Even if it was, I don't particularly think it would have changed much, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that was quite a tough one there.
That's all right. Sorry.
I mean, I thought actually for a change, I mean, Gio did say in the preview that he did love Michael Oliver. I think it was Michael Oliver today. He did love him. And to be fair to the ref, I thought he had quite a good game. We're not going to bash the referees for once on talking a game. Norton hit a sweet strike. Could have been another goal. Would have been probably the icing on the cake at that point. More corners, more chances, never taken. And then we have a corner from Dimmy, and Swansea just pushed the attack 2-on-1. Gomez to Ayew to Gomez, and they wrapped it up. It was just the way the afternoon had gone. I just finished it off, really, didn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned that Norton chance. I think that sums it up perfectly in the fact that they were sitting back at that point so deep, and yet somehow their right back still managed to get forward and hit a shot completely unchallenged by anyone. And that's not a defender problem. That's more of a midfield issue tracking back. And their goal was, again, it was Leicester-esque. It was just a breakaway. They soaked up the pressure. They invited it. In the second they got a chance, they broke away with their quickest players. Bam, 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 goal. Easy. And again, easy.
Yeah, really easy. And I mean, you might look at us here and thinking, oh, how are you not as angry as I am? Trust me, inside, I'm fuming. And, we have to do a job here for talking about this. But inside, I am fuming. I can't believe the performance that we've just put in. But I can't sit here and F and Jeff and not talk about the highlights. It's not what I've got to do. But the way we've come out today, I am beside myself about it. And we were shocking. And that just really just summed it up and finished it off. But what's more scary for me is we have spent so much energy today, and it's not like we've got Saturday to Saturday. We've got to play United on Tuesday. They rest Rashford. I know Martial got injured in the warm-up, and maybe Darmian. But are you a bit worried for Tuesday now? Because I'm thinking, oh bloody hell, because Southampton could quite easily go to Spurs tomorrow and pick up some points. They have a few players that have been banned and stuff now because of the Chelsea game. Dirty, but are you nervous for Tuesday?
I'm more nervous than I was. I think I was always apprehensive about it because, it's boring. United are consistently boring and boringly consistent. They just sort of defend very well and then sort of occasionally get goals. But the one thing Van Gaal is very good at is getting the wins when he needs to. And this is a game where he needs to win. And so when Bilic first came in, there was a lot of talk about how his teams in the second half of the season tend to get tired because he plays with such a high intensity style of football. And I think that possibly today we might be seeing a bit of that because our team, like you said, although we might not be coming across as angry as we actually are on the inside, we were incredibly lazy, incredibly lethargic. We should have been doing. This is Swansea. We should have beaten Swansea. Swansea have been terrible for the majority of the season. We should be beating this team, and we're not. And now we've got to go and face a Man United side. The one thing I will say is hopefully the players will be up for it, given the occasion. And I think if there is an occasion fitting for it, this is the one. Put Antonio on the wing and get him just sprinting at United, causing problems. Because when he does, he consistently causes problems. And so hopefully the energy levels for that game will be raised due to the occasion. However, right now, I'm not being very positive about it at all.
No, but I mean, how can you be after that kind of performance? It put it down on anybody, really, and need to ring the changes. I'm sorry, but you need to ring the changes for Tuesday night. I genuinely don't think I can actually stomach another performance of Antonio at right back. Not for himself, but it's not fair on the guy, and you know how much attacking threat he's got. Get Tompkins in at right back for the weekend. If Martial's injured, there's not that threat of him coming in from the left. Get Tompkins in there and just get Antonio up on the right-hand side and get some, attacking threat. Have Sacco starting, maybe for Carroll. There's definitely got to be some changes for Tuesday night, definitely. We'll talk quickly about, I know this has gone on for quite a bit, but we are, there's quite a bit to get through. Just who stood out for you today? Because for me, I thought Ayew was brilliant. I really wanted Ayew in the summer because I thought he's very talented and he's still very young as well, but he can pick a game apart. But again, their left back had a good game. Their whole team seems to have a good game today, didn't they?
Yeah. They put in a very good team performance. There isn't a single really Swansea player I can pick out and go, he played quite bad actually. They defended as a unit, they attacked as a unit, and every player put the shift in they needed to. They were very, very good. From Swansea side, I think probably my player match would probably be Barrow. I think in the first half when he was on the right, that first section of the first half when he was on the right, he was cutting in and consistently just running across the entire defence, really causing a problem. And then when he moved over to the left, he gave Antonio all kinds of nightmares. He was very, very good. From our side,
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, for me, I don't even think that. Do you know what? We're supposed to give a man of the match. I thought between us, I mean, when Sacco came on, he made a bit of a difference and he gave a little bit of a spark. And I think it is, in an attacking sense, Antonio was good today. I guess because he was creating it. His final ball was shocking, I guess, but he was creating at times. But I just don't think I don't think we can give a man of the match performance to a West Ham player today. But if anybody stood out, it would probably be Sacco. I mean, you might feel differently.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
I mean, yeah. For me, I'm going to go with the man of the match today for Swansea because I thought it was Ayew. I can't justify anybody getting a man of the match for the West Ham team today. Genuinely, it was that bad of a performance. Anyway, just a quick couple of messages before we go. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we are, running an Instagram page now. It is just Hammers Chat. Give us a follow on that. We are looking for new followers. We only have just started that up. And again, I will re-mention the fact that we are trying to get to 1,500 subscribers before the end of the year when we're at Stoke. So please, whilst you're on this video, give us a little subscribe and a comment on telling us, about the game today. Just share your frustrations with us. Anyway, that's all we have got time for. So if you do want to go and check out for your latest West Ham news, head over to claretandhue.info. Alternatively, if you want to speak to your fellow West Ham fans and vent about today's performance, head over to hammerschat.boards.net. We've been two very, I guess, unsatisfied, but not angry for the camera. But no, anyway, that's been Charlie. I've been Tom. We've been Hammers Chat, and we'll see you next time.